I busted my face. I will never look the same. But it doesn't matter because this is just my physical body and I love it and I take care of it the best I can. But it doesn't make me who I am. And lately I've been realizing that everything just makes so much sense. It's not about me. Life is not about me. It feels like it is because I see everything from my perspective. My brain is like, I'm the star of the movie, you know? But I can't do it on my own. I mean, I get so stressed out, something happens, I freak out, and that's not cool, you know? So that's why we have to depend on God, or whoever your God is. Because it's like, how can you have all these different religions and not think they're talking about the same source? I think the Bible puts it in the best words, but I also think meditation is the best way to intimately connect with God, and that's not necessarily a practice they teach in church. It's almost more of a Buddhist thing. But I'm not here to judge anyone and say anyone's right and wrong. So, as my grandparents said, all the religions are the same. It's all one. So anyway, what I've been realizing is if I were to depend on myself to get through life, I would probably want to kill myself. I'd be depressed, stressed out, anxious, cry over every little thing that happened. But if I depend on that source inside of me that is true love and divine truth and divine healing and divine grace and just life, universe, peace, then I don't have to look to myself and it's easy. And it eliminates pride or selfishness or fear because I'm no longer depending on myself. But if I was, I would be all high and mighty thinking, I did that, I can give to people, I'm the blessing. But I'm just the conduit. My body and who I am in this world is just the expression of that. Therefore, it's not me. Therefore, I have to trust and fully depend on God, or I can't do it. So that's why we have religion. That's why we have a higher power that we fully depend and rely on. And for me, that's God. Because I believe everything in the Bible is true. And I think that there's a physical plane and a spiritual plane. And the physical plane is this tangible place where we can see and touch and feel things. But then the spiritual plane is what we can connect to. But it's always there. It's even more real than the physical plane. And in reality, they're all one. But with our three-dimensional world, that's how we grasp it, as two different planes. Heaven is on Earth right now. They're not two different planes. But when you see the way the U.S. is going, or the way that hunger and starvation and unhappiness and depression and suicide, you can't really say that's heaven. But the more that I get in touch with that peace and divine love and truth inside of me, the more my vision of the world begins to change. So recently, surfboard accident. Heck yeah, man, out there shredding the gnar too hard. And some might see that as a bad thing, but it literally brought me so much more peace in that time, which sounds totally wrong to say. But I just, after it happened, all I could focus on was my breath. And it's like, where does your breath come from? You know, like, it's from the source. Our beating heart and our breath is a constant reminder of the truth and love inside of us that isn't from us. And it's awesome, because once you get that, everything is a reminder of it. Movies, songs, lyrics, it all points to it. It literally all points to it. But with my original thought, the yin-yang, which I drew a picture of, you can't have good without the bad. When I was a little child, I would read the Bible and think, heaven sounds boring. Like, fully honest, heaven sounds boring. If everything went perfectly right, you would never be thankful for it. You know what I'm saying? So with my perspective currently, there's good and bad, but I don't necessarily see the bad as bad. It has to be there for us to enjoy the good. And every time we go through something hard, like my face permanently altering, which it's not really a big deal, but in this day and age where everything's about your physical appearance, that can be a showstopper for some people. So if I view that bad as good because it brought more peace into my life and it made me slow down and get more in touch with God through that time and realize, wow, I can't depend on myself, well then it's actually a good outcome, and it made my relationship with the universe and love deeper. And that's what's most important to me. So I drew my little yin yang here, and it has some different animals in it, and it has the black and white because you can't have black without white. I think it just represents the harmony of the world we live in. And so next time you or I see something bad, I want us to just focus on our breath and see it from God's perspective. So if it's something that's personally happening to you, be like, okay, well, I can't do it, so God, you're going to have to do this. Lose some pride, lose some fear. The more you trust, the more life will open up for you. But I found this verse today that I've been looking for, and it's in Isaiah. It's Isaiah 11:6-9. And a lot of people laugh at me because I'm always like, oh, the bears are friends and the lions are friends, and I could go hug a bear and be perfectly fine. And everyone's like, no. Have you ever seen a bear get in a fight? And I have, and not in person, but YouTube videos. Gnarly, hard to watch. But in the light of bringing that perspective of heaven on earth and harmony and peace and love on earth, like the Garden of Eden before the river that was one in the Garden of Eden separated into three, and there was a split in our consciousness which led us to judge things, which is literally not in our system. We cannot judge. Our brain loves to judge. It's like her favorite thing to do. Oh, that person, not looking good. That person, can't believe she reacted that way. Well, probably a few days later, you maybe did the same thing that you judged about. You might get mad at someone for lying, and then a few days later you find yourself just a little white lie, but no, it's all the same. Sin is just our separation from the truth. I'm getting very carried away. Let me read this verse. And the wolf will dwell with the lamb, and the leopard will lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together. And a little boy will lead them. Also the cow and the bear will graze. Their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox. The nursing child will play by the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child will put his hand on the viper's den. They will not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. What a beautiful representation of the harmony that I picture in the Garden of Eden and heaven. And that can be on our physical plane right now. We just need to change our perspective. Real example. Wolves, big, scary, malicious, gnarly creatures. Well, the other day I watched a video about these people in Yosemite that are taking care of wolves because now they're not on the endangered list in like Idaho and whatever, which is where they're hunted. And they used to be a beautiful hunting animal for the Indians, and they had a great relationship with them where they worked in harmony. And these people that are farming these lovely little adopted wolves, oh my god, it's so cute. The lady started to cry and the wolves started howling. It was like this lovely pact mentality between human and animal, where usually there would be fear there. And it totally changed my perspective on how we could literally interact with wolves. They were like frolicking in the wilderness on a hike with these people, and it was beautiful. So, no fear, because if you saw your little boy putting his hand in a viper's den, it would instantly be like, ugh. If I see my cat with a snake or a deer, I instantly think she's going to get hurt. So, changing our perspective to see it from God's perfect vision. Changing our perspective to see our neighbor as ourself, as one with us, because that would bring perfect humility and love towards anyone you meet. You can't say, oh, well, John, I mean, he's a great person, but do you know what he did and why he was in jail for a few months, and I just don't trust my kids around him. No, cut that, cut the BS, and just see people with this perspective that only God can give you. Because then if you see him in true love, it's not going to be out of pride. Like, yeah, my family invited John over for dinner. We're so holy. No, it has to come from a pure, humble, kneeling heart. And it has to be God's love expressing itself through you, because we're just the conduit, but we're also one with him. And it's this beautiful balance of a relationship. I have so much more to say, but we'll stop there. Just walk outside and ask God to show you a new perspective. That's all.